Who's the master?
Show enough.
Show enough.
And welcome back to the Retro Review. I am the Bearded Geek. Joining me as always is Mikey the Freak.
What's up?
And Steve.
Hey, what's going on? I see what you're doing. It's not that funny. It's not that funny.
Today we are going to be reviewing the awesome movie, The Last Dragon. Mikey the Freak, why don't you tell us a little bit about this movie?
This
The
movie was
awesome.
fabulous. It was
The
fabulous.
awesome movie.
You can give your
Awesome.
critiques later, Steve. So in New York City, a young man searches for a master to obtain the final level of martial arts and receive what they call is the glow, which is reaching that final level. If you watch the movie, you hear the song play through the entire movie, so you should know what that is. Yeah, so it's I never pronounced his name right. Probably Timek, whatever.
Yeah, we'll go with that.
Yeah, hopefully he don't watch our show. Butchering his name, but yeah, he plays Leroy Green Jr., so Bruce Leroy.
Bruce Leroy.
Huge martial artist, owns his own studio, trains kids for self-defense. Never wants to use it as a attacking, so it's always going to be self-defense.
Works at his dad's pizza parlor.
Yeah, he helps out with the pizza parlor. His kids, his dad kind of runs it with his wife, his other little brother, and it kind of runs into this gang of kung fu gang, I guess you could say it, run by Shonuff, which is actually played by Julius Carey. So he is also trying to reach that final level. So he's kind of that good versus evil. Um, Wants to really fight Leroy through the whole movie, and Leroy doesn't want to use it for fighting. It's always going to be about self defense. So always refuses. Ends up being showed up like he is, like they say, kiss my Converse. I always love that part. I always love that part of the movie.
Kiss my Converse.
Kiss my Converse. But yeah, I mean, it's goes to it. You know, he falls in love with Vanity, Laura Charles, and always becomes that damsel in distress throughout the entire movie. They're always trying to get to her and kidnap her because Eddie Arcadian wants his girlfriend's. It's funny as shit. Wants his girlfriend's music video, which is the strangest fucking thing I've ever seen in my life. You know, they want to play that music video in her club and kind of give her the recognition and kind of boost her.
Not just her club though, but it's her TV show. I want to say it's a TV show as well.
Yeah, Seventh Heaven, yeah.
So, but kind of like a Soul Train, local Soul Train type thing.
Yeah, and you actually see it playing in the pizza place.
Mm-hmm.
and you always see Shonuff's like, what's this shit? And then end up kicking the jukebox video box, I guess you could say it was.
Well, I don't. So really quick, is that supposed to be the Seventh Heaven channel? Because they're playing that chick's music video. They're playing the Black Book's music video.
Yeah, no, I don't think it was. I think it was just like
I think it was Eddie Arcadian's channel.
Yes, it was Eddie Arcadian's.
He has to have his own channel of some sort for them to be playing it, or he found someone to play the video.
Yeah, that makes sense. If you look, it actually says Arcadian on the machine itself. So that was actually his machine that was playing the video on it.
And then Shonuff breaks it, and the dad goes, "That's not even mine."
Yeah.
I don't own that. That's not even mine. It's not paid for. So yeah.
I I love how
Go
the
ahead.
mom wanted to hit everyone with the pizza board.
Yeah, and he was throwing the little pizza balls. She was
And
like
then
the
he puts
pizza
the
balls.
brother, he puts the little brother in the garbage can and is filled with spaghetti.
That's so funny. So
This
yeah,
movie's so fucking dumb.
look, I always said, it has your good versus evil. It has your damsel in distress. It has your
Dance
plot.
numbers.
It
Yeah.
has your dancing. It has your songs. It's a typical 80s martial arts movie. Like we've always said on several of our podcasts is when we do the 80s, right? If it's not BMX bikes, if it's not skateboarding, if it's not breakdancing, or it has to have martial arts, it is not an 80s movie.
I'm
Straight up
gonna say right now, Monster Squad has none of those.
from the 80s.
From the 80s, Monster Squad has none of those classic 80s flick.
You don't have to have them all in there, but that was
No,
seemed
I'm
like
saying it
that
has
was
none
the.
of those. Everything you just named, not a single one of them is in Monster
I
Squad.
guess it.
Okay.
Very entertaining film.
Generally, the 80s had those.
Generally,
Fucking dick.
you shut the hell up.
Hey, you
Jesus
listen here,
Christ.
you.
But yeah, so again, towards the end, uh, Leroy finds his glow, and of course, it's the good yellow. Show enough finds his glow, and it's red, which is evil.
I
What
think
I,
Show had the glow the whole time.
I
Yeah,
think
I
so
think you did
too.
too.
I think he did too, and that's I think why he wanted to fight Leroy so bad, is he really wanted to beat the shit out of him
He really
and show
wanted to
him
show off
who
that
was the
glow.
master of Harlem.
Yeah. Show enough.
Exactly. So I agree. I mean, there was yeah, Christopher Murray played a very good Eddie Arcadian, like psychotic, demented almost, crazy. So I think he did a pretty good job at that character.
I think
But yeah, I
Wallace
mean
Shawn
that's
would have done a better job.
he had a great Napoleon complex.
yeah, he did. But yeah, I mean that's kind of it in a nutshell. Um, they joke about catching bullets with his teeth, and you end up seeing that at the end of the movie. Um,
As soon as he pulled the gun out, I was like, he's gonna catch it with his teeth.
oh
Yeah,
yeah,
Shown up
yeah.
said at the beginning of the movie in the theater, he catches
catching
bullets with
bullets
his
with his
teeth.
teeth, please.
I love the super young William H. Macy that we see for
Yes,
all of
Yeah.
30 seconds.
yes. Not a very big part, but yeah, it's
I
almost
think
like
Eddie Arcadian has him killed. That's what I think happened to him.
yeah, I think it's almost like the same character, the same genre of Fargo, where he has to get money and he's gotta get money to pay off people. It's almost like the same character from Fargo.
Yeah.
Just
But
no
too funny.
mustache.
There's no mustache yet. But yeah, I mean that's pretty much it in a nutshell. Um, Bearded Geek, what about you? What do you think of this movie?
Yeah, I thought this movie had all the plot points and stuff to make a good movie, but the execution was just not there at
Piss poor,
all.
piss
Yeah,
poor execution.
it was bad. It was bad. Uh, it had good moments, but it's not enough to not a, not enough to make a good movie.
Yeah.
As far as 80s movies go, this movie it missed the mark. It just missed the mark, in my opinion. Steve, what'd you think of the
I,
movie?
I quote film critic Jay Sherman when I say it stinks.
That's fair.
Yep.
That's fair. All right.
Now
Would
it's
you?
rating time, right?
Okay. You didn't want to elaborate on that? It stinks.
No,
That's
Okay.
a
no.
solid. That's a solid. It stinks.
I gotcha. I
It
gotcha.
stinks.
So let's go ahead with ratings. Mikey the Freak.
Period.
Mikey the Freak. How would you rate this movie?
It brought back a lot of memories. I watched this a lot when I was a kid, on HBO when it came out, and I did find it, I'd say fascinating, really, but it was more entertaining as a young kid. But as watching it now, a lot older, yeah, it's one of those cheesy, corny. They shouldn't have there was a lot of different things they shouldn't have done. The graphics were bad when they were fight scenes. So yeah, I mean it's a solid 5 for me, just right in the middle of the road, just because it was a nostalgic movie when I was young, and I enjoyed it when I was young. I'd still watch it. I mean, I still watch it just because of the nostalgia. That's pretty much it. I'd be like, oh, I remember watching this when I was a kid. That's pretty much all it was enjoyable. The acting was horrible. The like I said, the graphics were bad. The martial arts was okay. It looked very choreographed. But yeah, far fetched acting, over the top, evil character with Chris
That's
Burney. Yeah.
that's 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 Stallone. Over the top is not.
Oh,
That's
yeah, exactly. But yeah, I mean, I'm just gonna give it a middle of the road 5.
All
What
right.
about you, Bearded Geek?
Yeah, I'm not. I can't even give it a 5, man. I think I this was my first time watching the movie. I had never seen this until this movie
Really?
was suggested. Yeah.
Makes sense.
Uh, I'm gonna have to go ahead and give this a 4. I'm gonna give it a 4. I did enjoy out of all the acting. I did enjoy what Timax or whatever his name was, Bruce
Time out.
Leroy. I thought he did an okay job. The overacting of Show Nuff was just too comical to me. Like who would
Rick
ever?
James looking fool.
Yeah, I mean, who would ever in their right mind act like that? Or it was just too much.
Yeah.
Um, Other than that, yeah, straight 4. I would not recommend this to anybody. Steve, what would you rate
uh,
this movie?
this was my first and the last time watching this film, and we just keep going further and further and further down as I am giving this a 3 out
3.
of 10.
That's fair. That's
Yeah.
definitely fair.
Giving it the good old European 3.
Okay, I gotcha. All right,
And I'll
Steve,
give it
do
a European 2 as well.
Steve, do you happen to have any fun facts or facts
boy,
at all about this
boy, do
movie?
I! Woo!
Maybe facts. I don't know how fun they
The
are.
Seventh Heaven disco set was built on Camera Mart stages at 54th and 10th Avenue. One day, Diana Ross visited the set and asked if she could buy it for her next tour.
Okay.
The character of Angela was patterned after Cyndi Lauper.
Makes sense.
I could see that, yeah.
In 1997, Busta Rhymes parodied the character shown up in his
Hmm.
music video Dangerous. In the
Yep.
video,
Mhm.
music cuts off. Busta proclaims, Yo, Leroy, am I not the baddest? And replicates Shownuff's first on screen speech. And the song Rhythm of the Night went on to become number 3 on the Billboard
Hmm.
Hot 100 and number 1 on the Billboard R&B charts. I thought that was very funny because I honestly never knew that Rhythm of the Night was sung by a dude.
The bars, yeah.
I thought it was a chick. And Vanity was the first and only choice to play Laura Charles.
Huh.
Oh.
Denzel Washington auditioned for both Leroy and Shonuff.
Oh, it would
I
have been
could
This
so
I
much
could
movie,
see
better.
that.
this movie would have been so much
Oh,
different if Denzel had been either of them.
I would have loved to have seen him play Show Enough.
Oh
Yeah.
my
Yeah.
god.
Show
The main
Enough.
actor who played Bruce Leroy had no previous acting experience.
Mm-mm.
Surprise, surprise. And this film was shot in 44 days. And it shows.
Yes.
Those are my fun and interesting facts. Bearded Geek, do you happen to have any fun movie memorabilia?
I do not. I couldn't
No.
find. I couldn't find hardly anything on this that was worth showing. And Steve is going back to a
Down
different
Paris.
movie. He's going back to Down Paris.
Oh, there's no screen this time for me to hide behind while I.
No. Mikey the Freak. What do we have for some related reels?
Yeah, I mean the biggest star to me out of this was actually Mike Starr. He's been
Yeah, Mike
in
Yeah.
he's been
Star!
in so many movies. A lot of one episode television shows. My favorite one that I know him in is Dumb and Dumber. I loved him
Yeah.
in Dumb and Dumber. We've mentioned that before. I also
Goodfellas.
have him in Snake Eyes. He's been in Goodfellas, but he's been in a bunch of just one-off episodes and television shows, and always plays like a bully, goon, villain, hitman. It's always
Yeah.
something like Italian mafia. He's
When
always
you
something of that
when you
nature.
the
I
guy
love him.
from Once Upon a Time down in Mexico or something like that, or
He was not in Once Upon a
he
Time in
okay.
Mexico.
I could have
I
sworn.
love him in the episode of The Office where he's the insurance salesman,
Yes,
and they
yeah.
think
One
they
up. He
think he's
got
a
the one
and they think he's
episode.
they think he's a mafia man. I also
Yeah.
really like him in Jersey Girl.
Oh, I
Not a
didn't
big
know
fan
that.
of Jersey Girl. I just happen to like
Yeah,
him. He's got a
I don't
small
think I've
bit
ever
now.
seen that movie.
Well, get out of here.
Exactly.
Just
Well,
like
you didn't
Felix.
like my movie, so it is what it is. I I did pick Vanity. The only movie that I really have seen her in is Action Jackson, Carl Weathers. She was in The Highlander. She did the soundtrack for Beverly Hills Cop. She does a lot.
Okay.
She did a lot of musical stuff because that's who she is. She was a singer, not really an actress at that point. So, and then the last one I got was Faith Prince, which is the one that plays Angela. She's been in the show Dave, movie Dave. She's been in a bunch of just shows like Drop Dead Diva, Modern Family, Ugly Betty, Mad Men, a couple episodes here and there. The best one I liked her in, and is another corny one from the late '80s. Again, because I watch HBO a lot, because it's the only pay channel that my parents had. Was a show called Encyclopedia. I don't know if you'll ever remember that late '80s,
Nope.
but it was a very inventive way to teach children about words. So it would come up, they would be on like the letter E, they would spit out a word like etiquette, and they would give the definition, and then they would go into like a skit or a parody, like almost like an In Living Color or a Saturday Night Live, and teach you visually about the word to help you understand it. It's still on YouTube. You can find episodes on YouTube from Encyclopedia. It's from 88, 89, the late 80s.
You know,
But
as someone who's almost 40, that show sounds so enthralling and just so exciting.
it was
I just
educational. That's what I
I'm just
enjoyed
gonna go.
about it.
I'm gonna
Yeah,
go right now and just encyclopedia. I'm
Mm.
just gonna Britannica it all.
yeah,
I'd rather go find an episode of Where in the World's Carmen San Diego.
yes.
Not as good as you remember. I'm gonna tell you this right now. Not as good as you
I love
remember.
the
And
old stuff.
also,
I love all the old stuff.
no good quality episodes on YouTube of Where in the World is Carmen San Diego.
Yeah.
Not even the
Okay.
game show. I love the game
The
show.
Warrant. No, that's the only one I'm talking about. The
Oh, okay, okay.
Warrant
Okay.
Patty,
with
Patty Larceny.
Rockapella. With Rockapella.
Ooh,
Yes.
Rockapella. I love that kind of stuff. Yeah, so Encyclopedia was big. Yeah, we did talk about that, but Encyclopedia was a big
Bow.
one that I remember her from. That was the
Well,
only
she
one I
speaks
remember her
around the
from.
world from the end of Carolina.
She's a sneaky
Bro,
thing
I
somewhere
watched it religiously. I
from
loved Where in the
Irving
World
down to
Carmen Sandiego.
Belize.
She'll take you for a ride on a roller coaster. China, tell me.
Tell
Tell
me
me
where
where
in the
in the
world
world
is
is
Carmen
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 San
San
Diego.
Diego.
But
Yeah, this show took a left turn. All right. Steve, where can
Ernie
people.
Reyes Jr. was in this movie as a very young
yep.
child. You're going to know him as Keno from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2. I was watching the final fight scene. I see this little kid fighting, and I go, that looks like Ernie Reyes Jr. And it was.
Okay.
You could find me on my podcast. That's the last podcast you'd want. Yeah,
Mhm.
you could look down at me with all that disgust you want, Mike. I talked about Ernie Reyes Jr. You can find me on the last podcast you'd want. Me and my buddy Travis. You go check out old episodes. You can find us on YouTube. If you are watching the show on a weekly basis, you already know what I have to say. So tip the veal, try the staff. I'll see you then. There's the
As
camera.
we as we
There's
come
the
to a
camera.
close, do all the YouTuber things. Give us a good old thumbing. Like, subscribe, tell us what you thought of this movie. If you've seen it, if you haven't seen this movie, I don't recommend it. All right, so I do believe that does it for this episode of Back to the Retro Review. So for Mikey the Freak and Steve, I am the Bearded Geek saying, keep it retro, everybody.
Peace.